What is up, Not So Pro Football Talk? This is another episode of grading the 2023 seasons of all the NFL teams. So I have them graded as C minus, as you can see on the thumbnail, and as you can see right here on our little header. But just going through it, I mean, they're losing key players most likely in the free agency. There's no success in filling any of the positions for the skilled player positions, whether that's running back, who they could possibly have someone leaving, Saquon Barkley there. Wide receivers, who they have the same guys that they've had for maybe 5 years, and it's just there's no update in getting a better wide receiver in that wide receiver room. And of course, the quarterback concerns. They signed a quarterback for 4 years this past season, and that's Daniel Jones. Not too sure how I feel about that, just the way he's been playing. But now he's also coming off an ACL injury. Really hard to do, especially getting your feet back under you after missing half of the season. Getting more into it, I'll talk about all of this, but I just feel like they're farther away from success in winning a Super Bowl, let alone winning the NFC East division like they had a chance in 2022. Not going to say it was a huge chance, but that was probably their best season when they went 9-7-1 in a while. So Daniel Jones, I don't know if he can do it, but let's get right into it. Their record was 6-11. Like I said, quarterback woes, injuries. They didn't know who was going to slide in there, if there was going to be the rookie DeVito or if it was going to be one of the old heads in the NFL that gets swapped around every year. But let's go ahead and talk about the 2023 draft picks for the New York Giants. I mean, they didn't hit on too many. I'll talk about two guys that they hit on. That's Deontay Banks, cornerback. He's a first-round pick. He's a starter, played well. And John Michael Schmitz, a center. He played 12 games due to injury, but he played very well as well. Now, that O-line altogether did not play well, but I think that Schmitz is a guy that they can keep long-term. He's going to be a good center in the league. So, yeah, other than that, they got Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver. Really didn't do anything, 23 receptions this year. Eric Gray, running back, 17 carries this year, didn't do nothing. Trey Hawkins, another cornerback. He's a good rotation / depth player. Jordan Riley, defensive tackle, another rotational player. 4 tackles, 4 assists in 8 games played. And Garvarius Owens, a safety. He's like a reserve player for them. He played 3 games, had 1 tackle and 1 fumble recovery against the Washington Commanders. Wasn't the best of drafts for them. Really, again, I think they only hit on 2 guys here. So that's just taking into factor there why they are a C minus for me. So let's move on to their 2023 signings, which I'm going to say is way too many 2023 signings in free agency. I'm going to list these guys, but get ready because it's a long list. They got Jamison Crowder, wide receiver, cornerback Amani Oriarie, tight end Tom Sweeney, tight end Darren Waller, safety Bobby McCain, wide receiver Paris Campbell, wide receiver Darius Slayton, linebacker Jahad Ward, wide receiver Jeff Smith, quarterback Daniel Jones, linebacker Bobby Okereke, running back Matt Breida, defensive tackle Raheem Nunez-Roches, wide receiver Sterling Shepard, linebacker Gerard Davis, wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins, cornerback Leonard Johnson, guard Wyatt Davis, punter Jamie Gillen, and long snapper Casey Creeder. Again, a laundry list of guys, and that just screams one thing to me. They don't have anybody that is worth a damn on this team, and they're just trying to get anybody that they can to fill positions and hopefully outlast this season just to, have a 6-11 record like they did. But 7 guys off that laundry list are going to stay. That is Darren Waller for 3 more years, wide receiver Darius Slayton, quarterback Daniel Jones, linebacker Bobby Okereke, wide receiver Sterling Shepard for 1 more year, cornerback Leonard Johnson for 2 more years, and their punter Jamie Gillen for 1 more year. So again, not really hitting on a lot of these guys. I mean, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard have been here for years now, and I feel like they're just saying the same, I don't even think they're making progress in that wide receiver room. But moving on from that, I don't want to take too much time on all those misses, but I feel like defense is this only team savior, and they're not even top of the league or top 10. But let's go ahead and go into this next section. Their season in a nutshell. I kind of went over a lot of it here, but 6-11 this year, 9-7-1 last year. That's a falling trend, guys. I mean, that's not what you want to see in your organization. 2021 was a 4-13 record, so they went like this, and then they went like that. So up and down here, as the New York Giants have been for the past 10 years, especially when Eli Manning was there, had good seasons, had bad seasons, had seasons where they won the Super Bowl, and then some seasons where they did not even look like they were going to be a playoff team. So it's just a trend for the New York Giants, I believe. But again, I mean, they've hit on cornerbacks and they hit on a center here that I think that they can use from the draft as well as free agency. But they just did not hit on those skill positions on the offensive side, running back, wide receiver. I mean, these were areas that they already knew they were going to have to worry about. They franchise tagged Saquon Barkley, and now they don't look like they're going to do it again because I don't even think they can. Reed knows those rules better than I do, but Saquon looks like he's out the door. He's already got 1.5 feet saying goodbye. He's got the wave and everything. I don't think this is a good look for the Giants. They're losing the guy, one of the only guys on the offensive side who actually gave them a spark this season and actually got them those 6 wins, basically. So that's not a good look. Darren Waller, not impressed. Again, we went over his stats earlier. It just looks like he did more damage than even Daniel Jones did. But a few other bright spots on this team. Going to go over to the defensive side now because, I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Adoree Jackson, along with sometimes Azeez Ojulari, as well as Banks and Pinnock at the safety positions there. The past 2 drafts, they did pretty well on the defensive side. But again, I mean, they just cannot hit on the offensive side. And that's what's really holding this team back. But we'll move straight into their draft capital for the 2024 draft. Yes, NSP as a group will be going to the NFL draft. So this should be interesting who we see them pick. I think they need to go after defense. I think they still need to bolster both offensive line and defensive line. So I'm not going to be mad if they pick an offensive lineman here, a defensive lineman. I think that's their best bet. Don't go after these big names like Marvin Harrison. Even then, you probably won't get him at the 6th pick, so you have to trade your mother and everything to get him at probably 2nd or 1st overall pick this year. But if they do manage and Marvin Harrison falls in the draft and they get him, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I still think they need to bolster those lines. They need to get guys that are going to be there for 5 years on a small deal who are actually going to make an impact because I think they need to just scratch the entire offense and start from scratch. But 2nd pick 39, 2nd round pick again, 47 from Seattle when they traded away Julian Love. There's one of their good safeties who played well for the Seattle Seahawks this year. Round 3, pick 70. Round 4, pick 107. Round 5, pick 139. And round 6, pick 184. So they have a plethora of picks sitting there at 7 picks overall. But with their cap available too, I mean, it's not so much even with this $30 million increase. If my math is correct, and over the cap has been adjusted after this, they have $38 million. Again, they just need to go O-line and D-line. They need to help guys like Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Adoree Jackson out there in the backfield as well. But they also have guys like Azeez Ojulari who played decent this year. So I think they just need to continue bolstering that defensive line, make sure that their defense is stout, because I believe it's easier to get picks on the defense that can make an impact than it is for offensive players to make an impact. But that is why I'm grading the New York Giants as a C minus. Again, they just do not have a lot going for them, don't have a lot of draft capital that I think they're going to hit on. And I don't think that they're going to have much available cap, even with Saquon Barkley leaving as he's a free agent. I'm sure they have a lot of dead money. I'm sure they have contracts that they could probably wish they could take back. But we'll see how Daniel Jones does here. If you agree with me, leave it down in the comments. If you don't, let me know too, because I'm interested to see what you guys think of these teams that we're grading. If you haven't seen any of the other videos with the Raiders with the Bucks or with the Panthers, go back at our channel, watch those, as well as other videos that have come out before this. I'm not too sure who AJ has on Tuesday, but I'm excited to see that too. So yeah, guys, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're feeling generous, and of course, as we always say here, keep on grinding.
Strong.